So I had the opportunity to sit down and have a chat with one of my all-time biggest heroes, Damo Suzuki, legendary artist and singer of the krautrock band Can. Not only that, but joining us in the conversation are Damo's wife Elke and also Michelle, the filmmaker of the documentary film Energy, the documentary about Damo Suzuki. It's like this. I've been following Michelle's project since the day it was born, and a few months ago I reached out to Michelle to see if she wanted to join me in a conversation about the filmmaking process. She was out promoting the film and it was screening all over the UK. And in all this, she suggested that we would invite Damo and Elke. And needless to say, I was pretty thrilled about that. So we hit up a email conversation deciding on a date. And the result is what you are about to see. It developed to be quite the long conversation, but an amazing one if you ask me. We talk not only about the movie that Michelle did, Energy, the documentary about Damo Suzuki. Obviously we also talk about Damo's music and his sort of legacy. But as these conversations tend to be, we talk about music and life in general. So we also hit themes like religion, symbolisms, and Damo's struggle with his sickness and the recovery from the cancer that he had. So before you start watching, I urge you to go down to the links and watch the trailer so you know what we are talking about. And before or after the conversation, I ask everyone to go down to the link. Follow the Vimeo link because you can see the entire film on VOD today. It's just been released in Europe and I think in Japan. It's not been screened in the US, so it's not available in the US today. But Michelle talks a little bit more about that in the conversation. So, okay, I'm going to start rambling now. Please join me in the conversation with Damo, Michelle and Elke. Enjoy. So I'll do some sort of I don't want to call it intro because I suck at doing intros, just like this being a show or something like that. But I'll start by saying like I can start now. Like thank you so much.
That's fine.
Thank you so much for joining me in this conversation. This is a dream come true, really. Yeah, where to start? Like, I don't know if we should do any sort of presentation or something like that. I think that few people watching my channel and finding this video online don't know who Damo Suzuki is, but maybe we should go around telling everyone who we are. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, sure. I'm Michelle Heighway. I'm an independent filmmaker based in West Yorkshire, and I spent 5 years creating a documentary about Damo Suzuki's life story. It was a beautifully deep, intimate portrait about Damo and Elke and their life together. It's kind of a music documentary and a documentary about survival. Yeah, and we've just released it in the United Kingdom and screened in 9 cinemas, so it's been really wonderful.
And I've had the opportunity to see it twice now through your links. It's a fantastic film. I can't wait for my buddies to see it out there in the music world. It's going to be awesome. So, do you have any before we start or continue? Do you have any plans on releasing it so everyone can see it?
Yeah, I'm still submitting to festivals. So I guess because we've had festival in the UK, I'm going to release it exclusively on Vimeo on demand, so people can stream it and watch it online in the UK and Europe. So I'm planning on releasing that soon. And then hopefully Japan as well. We're just in the middle of sorting out the Japanese subtitles. And yeah, just making slow steps forward so that people can watch it all around the world.
That's great. That's awesome. And Elke and Damo, what's your part in this?
Yeah, what's your part in this? You What's okay. I'm Damo Suzuki, and behind you is some all my materials and my book is there. Thank you very much for decorating this thing.
Yeah.
And it's quite good. Maybe somebody has interest to buy it, but it's another thing. So I've been making music for quite a long time, but it's a different way. So I don't release any kind of albums and records, and so since maybe since 2003, I have a project like now I'm doing. So I'm traveling all over the world. So I performed with this project maybe 45 different countries, including Sweden as well. Yeah. And what I'm doing is, so I just don't have any concept before we play, and I perform every day different sound carriers, musicians, local musicians. So that means I don't have any material. Just we compose on the spot, and we just presenting this because. For me, this is a luxury way to make a music, because music is connecting with the time. So if this time is really living, that means, so now I compose it now together with the audience and the musician on the stage. Then it's really honestly things, and it's natural things, and I really like only this sort of music. So it's almost like if you like to eat something and you find that the taste is really good, then another thing is taste is not that good, you know. So yeah. I mean, so these are things that I'm doing, and until now with this project, I made a little bit over 1,000 concerts.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That's quite a few.
Quite a few, but could be much more, because by accident, so 2014 I get really ill, and so 3 years almost no concert. But before I did so every year 80 to 100 concerts, and I flew with airplane maybe 70 times a year, so average. And it was so since 2003. So before I made a bit different music. Also, concept is the same before, but I perform together with my friends, musicians. So that's why I know them, and we have already chemistry. So you know, it's already not planned, but planned so things, because I know them already. But since 2003, so I perform with. So only musicians I never saw before, and sometimes no, only 15 minutes before we start, so we meet together and we just play. And this is kind of lottery, you know, but I like this kind of skill.
Yeah, I think that when I listen to music that you do now, I hear sort of a resemblance to the free improvised jazz that I also listen to. It sort of feels like you sort of approach music the same way as a jazz musician approaches free improvised music in with their instruments. I don't know if I'm right or wrong here, but
sorry, but it's so okay. You say so free jazz, but free jazz it's always sound like a jazz still. Yeah, but my thing is not to sound like anything. So because we don't know, I don't know too, and the musicians also don't know what will come. And also they have all different experience in the music for creative things. Some is from heavy metal, and some is from country and western or traditional music.
That's true.
Even in Sweden, I performed with somebody played plant, flowers. Yeah, and plant make a blessing. And he and so his wife was so collecting this sound from the plant, and we performed together with this plant blessing, for instance. like that.
Okay.
Or in the south of London place called Croydon, and I perform together with disabled people.
Okay.
And also sometimes I perform together with string quartet things, and all the times, every time is just different. Like every time a different weather and different feeling you have. Also, it's just for me, it's kind of luxury. So because I was creating music in a very, very natural, maybe so primitive way. I made music, and I'm happy about this, that I did it until now.
Yes.
So that is my music is all about. So that's why I cannot tell anything about the music, because if I have now concert and 50 minutes later, I don't know what's going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
It's a cool sort of approach to music. And Elke, you have a big part of the film too. What sort of, can you just briefly tell us who you are and your part of the film?
Yeah, Damo and I, we know us a long time, and we lived a long time together when this happened. And it was from one day to the other. He was lying in coma, and he was going to die, and so I tried to do everything what I can do that he can survive. I stayed in the hospital to watch about him. Yeah, so and yes, and so we went together to through this time, you know. So
yeah,
it was at that time I was a teacher, and so I get up in the morning very early to make his food, because he didn't get the food of the hospital, and because I thought it's not healthy enough. And
okay.
So, and then I went to school, and from school I went to the hospital, first in Cologne, then in Leverkusen, and stayed with them until the evening. And then I went back and I made a lot of research because of his blood, what they tested and so on. And then I made a research to ask another day what ideas I have and so. And it was yeah, I wondered by myself where I have had this power to do that. And I think Damo and we are staying in the Bible, and I think then there has come a lot of power to help us to go through this time. And yes, it was, at first it was to survive. And when he survived, it was all this open Bauch heißt belly, belly, his open belly. And so that finally, after years and a lot of surgeries, he is now fine, not really healthy like before, but he is independent from all this medical stuff. He has to take some medicine against his pain, but he doesn't need any things he has need before, you know. So all this stuff on the belly.
Yeah, I understand. I actually wrote, when I started to write down my questions, I started right away with writing like, okay, who is Damo Suzuki, Elke, and Michelle? Well, Damo is the legendary artist and mover of worlds, and Elke and Michelle are two strong women at his side with totally different relations. And to you, Damo, and I don't know if you agree, but I think that doing this, I mean, powering through the sickness and keeping the relationship demands a strong relationship, and doing a film over 5 years is also not an easy task. So I claim that I'm right, that you are two strong women at his side. Michelle, could you just start by telling us how you came in contact with Damo and Elke, and when you decided to do the film, that this was a film that should be made?
I'd already known of Damo for many years anyhow as a music photographer and through a group of friends. And a chain of events occurred. One of Damo's sound carriers passed away, and that was actually my friend. And as soon as I found out that Damo also had cancer, I found it quite unbelievable. And I had met Damo a couple of months before at Hebden Bridge. He'd done a gig there. I was really inspired by Damo. And I just thought initially I loved Damo because he's an outsider artist. He's like very organic. He's got a unique way of thinking and how he sees the world on a spiritual level and a musical level. And it was just this deep connect, that the fact that my friend had also passed away from cancer, it was a way to kind of, I guess a lot of filmmakers do heal by creating films or documentaries about something in their life that they connect with. So it was like all these little things that pieced together at this moment in time within the universe at that moment. And so I asked a promoter called Ned from Varsistas if he could get us together. And he's very good friends with Damo and Elke and had known them for many years, a lot longer than I'd known them on a personal level. So Ned would come and travel with me and help me get from A to B and just get to know Damo a lot better, and Elke. And yeah, it just really organically grew from there. So it was like this beautiful journey.
I'm reading my questions here. Yes, so I mean, five years. Did you seek distribution at the same time, or did you already have distribution at the time?
So this is totally like Damo, I guess. We're both very independent. This was a self-funded documentary. I was the cinematographer, the editor. I had help with Andrew McKee as well. I produced it, directed it. So yeah, it's something that I've had to do with a really strong vision myself, promoted it myself a lot as well. And with the help of 9PR, we did 2 crowdfunding campaigns when I needed funds to buy the computer that I'm using right now to chat to you, to enable me to edit the film at home in my own time. I was working quite a few jobs throughout these years as well, which, you know, makes something take a little bit longer than it should as well. So yeah, it was a really organic, slow moving journey. After the 5 years, I guess, to get to this point, it took an additional 2 years.
Okay.
The pandemic.
And the pandemic. Yeah. And do you it feels like it's still sort of a progress, because you're screening it now through the UK and you are releasing it as a VOD. So when do you think that, I mean, what's the end game? I guess you have some time left before you can just leave it behind you, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. At the moment, I'm just really having fun promoting it, getting it out there. It's been lovely interacting with everybody that's been able to watch the documentary and hear their feedback. When you make a film, you want to touch people and their lives, and to be able to connect with people and inspire people. And I think that Damo and Elke and how everything went with the documentary really achieved that. So yeah, at the moment, we're going to try and get it online and also throughout festivals in the USA next. So yeah, and then finally, I guess it would be like the product, DVD and Blu-ray. But at the moment, we will be releasing very shortly on Vimeo for the UK and Europe, and then hopefully Japan next.
Yeah. I'll link in my social medias, obviously, when it's up there and running. You choose the title Energy, and what's the story behind the title Energy? Because when we have had conversations on email, you also finish all of the emails with energy, Damo. So is energy something that is important? That's the wrong word, but what is energy to you?
You mean me or
yeah what is
okay. Yeah, energy is so same like so I told you before with the kind of the music I'm doing, because it's now it's ing, yes, in. So doing now. So if you say ing for 20 times, 30 times, then it's get to sound like energy.
Yeah.
But because the energy substance also now you make something that's why this powerhouse is coming from energies. Energy is not so past things. Things is energy is right now is, and right now is the most important thing in your life at the moment you are talking with us. And so this is the most important because which is living now. So ing is anything is living and giving power to another one, maybe sharing power together. So this is a kind of cosmos I really like to build up with music. And if I can do in another field, I would make it this, because this is the most important thing, because there is many violence and so like this, because people don't communicate.
No.
So real communication is there, not there, and the people is believing so much about the doctor, scientists, and some things. So, but they don't find their own life and own how it's called, common sense. And if you have as this common sense and this as a basis, then you can reach many things, because you are honestly to yourself. If you are not honestly to yourself, you cannot reach anything, because then everything is lying, believing lying. So then you cannot reach anything. You can reach things which you are honest and always living, or maybe trying to living with the truth. Then you can reach real things, organic things, natural things. So you can get all things. So that's why so it's called energy. And in Germany, people say energy. So
energy, energy in Swedish.
Yeah, Swedish also, I think.
I thought it was a perfect sort of title for the film, but because it takes a lot of energy to go through what you have gone through too, so it works in sort of different layers, I guess. Michelle, what's your take on energy, or is it just the energy coming from Damo and Elke in this case?
So initially, I guess when you go to watch Damo Suzuki at a gig, you can feel the energy in the room. You can see it, like, it's invisible, but you can feel it. Like everybody's like engaged and connecting in that moment in time. And I think some people can tap into energy easier than others and give out energy and, get all metaphysical, like Damo likes to say, he's a metaphysical transporter. And I love that concept. But the real reason I decided to call it energy, subliminally, if you will realize that if you subscribe to Damo anyhow, he always puts energy at the end of his emails. But I wasn't a subscriber when I started making the documentary. I didn't come from that fan base point of view. It was a different kind of connect. So that was cool that was there too. And I became aware of that as I became a subscriber, and the more that we engage with each other online. But the first time I visited Damo, he had this wonderful energy doll on his table, and that's in the documentary, and it says energy on the back. And somebody had created this tiny little kind of Russian doll of Damo with his microphone, and it's so adorable. And on the back, as you can see, it says energy. And as soon as I captured that cinematically, I was like, this is the name of my documentary for sure. And yeah, thanks, Damo. That's amazing. So yeah, on so many levels, it makes sense to call it energy. And it was just wonderful, like magic, when Damo explains at the end of the documentary about this energy. And I'd read about it in the book I Am Damo Suzuki, that I can see behind you there, by Paul Woods, which is available on Amazon. So yeah, so it's called energy for so many reasons. Yeah.
Let's see here. What's
Elke's energy was all so sorry to interrupt you there, but Elke's energy was amazing too. Elke's healing energy was just so illuminating and inspiring. She was just an amazing partner for Damo, and that was really wonderful to capture.
I was going to ask this later on, but I'm going to ask it now. Are you all very spiritual? Because I interpret the music and the film as very spiritual. Are you believers? I don't know what's the word, what the word is, but are you spiritual?
I'm an incredibly spiritual person. On so many different styles of levels. Like, I believe in the power of the universe and all kinds of different concepts. But it was really beautiful to be delivered the more biblical concept through Damo and Elke and their faith and the encouragement that they were able to have to get through their journey from reading chapters in the Bible, which I've put in there subliminally on the laptop, or seeing the book there. Damo talks a little bit about the power of the Bible and believing in God, in a creator that is there to help you if you need to tap into that. And I think that Damo taps into that energy and Elke quite a lot, and I guess that's why he's like a powerful, resilient life force. I think it's important for us to understand that we have this strength and power within us to survive when things get dark. You know, the light can come back. And I wanted to convey that in the documentary. So I'm really glad that you felt that it was a spiritual documentary.
Yeah, definitely. And I noticed there's a frame or a picture in the documentary where you have the Bible and a clock, I think, like I don't know what it's called, a clock.
Yeah, little little stopwatch that Damo has.
Yeah.
One. Yeah, I studied semiotics at university, and I always found the study of signs and symbols in film really interesting. So as a documentarian, I was able to pick up on the things that really represent Damo and the power of now and time, you know, this like limitless thought process that he has. So I love to put that there, and if people want to take it in and soak it up and feel it like you did, which is really cool.
To me it also works in two levels, because in one way time is now, but in another way I feel like time is running out when you are sick or when you are getting older. Time is running out, but you have your faith so it was a strong image in my opinion. So how important is your faith and God when you create music and in your relationship also?
Yes, sure. So because most important thing that every person is protect your house. So your house is your spirit and body. So if you are not able to protect your house, then you cannot get the truth. So, and also this is our mission eventually, so to know the truth in our life, your life too. So everybody must find their own truth. So then, otherwise you are walking in the darkness and you cannot see anything. You should get really good eyes from really believing in a God. And so you told before about spirituality, but I don't like this word spiritual things,
Okay.
because spiritual things is you are getting all kind of religion on and all kind of beliefness in a one pot. And this is not so, because there is only one creator of the human being and this world exists. And this is the truth. And this to know, then you must research and to know, okay, now part of the Bible is also standing, you must awake. So you must awake, because so Bible is not saying only stories, fairy tales. Yes, so parallel, so they are writing prophecy. So what we are now living in this darkness, so you can all find it in the Bible if you research it. And that's the meaning of awakeness. And this awakeness is important. Through this, you can go your way and you find your things which that is important, which you never saw before. But you know, it's like a puzzle playing. You can see a little bit, and then now, so you study a little bit, so then you can get the whole picture of truth together, getting it together. So maybe one year before we knew so a little bit about the Bible, now we know much more, because we are awake and we are just interested to research. So because without this, you cannot be any kind of so things you can reach. So you know, I don't know. I was in Sweden, and that time was before 70s, and maybe people is different now. It's been all over the world. The people is not so much interesting to talk about the Bible and God, but still, so many people is now waking up and researching the Bible, because it's very important.
Yeah, I think that we still have a pretty strong sort of Christian following here in Sweden, and we cherish the church. And I hope you don't get offended when I say that I'm not a believer of God or religious in any sort, but I've always been fascinated with religion, and especially I think a little bit envious of something to believing, because I don't believe in anything bigger than myself. So I have nothing to really climb onto when crisis hits, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, would you say that you're resilient though still, or not? Would you say you're more resilient than the average person, or less resilient for that reason?
What's resilient? I'm sorry, it's my
able to overcome obstacles, overcome something, like if something very dramatic may be happening, would you easily overcome that? Or
no, I crawl up in a bundle and scream for help, I think.
It's really interesting, because I could see the power in Damo and Elke, and Damo only had 10% chance to survive, and I think because of the faith he was able to survive for that reason. And Elke, of course, such a powerful, helpful partner. But I could see that Elke, and I kept it in the documentary, that she was like, at some point she was thinking, where is your God? And I tried to convey that God is everywhere. God is in the moment. Like when Damo's on stage, it's like when everybody's connecting like universally, that is godlike. We're all these tiny little cells connecting, and this forceful, this energy. I just love the power of that thought process through Damo and Elke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find it interesting from an atheist point of view, because I'm not an atheist, but I have to believe there's something else, or it's just so there's nothing to be hopeful about.
No, as I said, I'm envious of people believing that there is, because I don't. But maybe that's also part of waking up and as you say, Damo, researching and getting a little bit better understanding maybe of the different faiths, and in this case, the Bible.
Do you observe things in life that could make you think, oh, this is a sign that... So for example, I like observe like rainbows, or I might come across a white feather, or I might look at the clock and it's 11:11, or like, which is an angel number. Like, I'm a little bit diverse and a bit more extras than Damo and Elke, because they're more just the Bible, but I kind of like take notice of all kinds of things. Like if somebody, like my grandfather passed away, I'd get like white feathers nearly every day when I went for a walk, and it's like, that's not just a coincidence. So things like that, to me, do you not ever have anything unusual that might happen to you that might change your mind?
Definitely, definitely, and I think that it's just like you say, the coincidences sometimes feels too good to just be a coincidence. But and maybe I could call that like being touched by something bigger, something like God and God-like. But I think that that's more me putting a label on the experience rather than sort of a strong faith, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'll go to the next question. Were there any point during the filming where you, Elke, and Damo felt like Michelle was getting
a crow just hit my window? Sorry, that really freaked me out.
No.
A crow, did you just hear him? It was like a big stone. Shit. That was a sign. No, it wasn't really, but it was weird.
Maybe.
Sorry, what was the
I have my cat. Okay. Yeah, but were there any time during the filming where you felt like it got a little too personal? Did you feel like it got too personal, too much into sort of into the safety of your home, if you know what I mean?
I guess that's a question for Damo or
Damo
Elke.
and Elke.
Yeah. Did you feel like?
So I think it's not. So I didn't care about anything. You can ask Michelle as well, because it's her project. She can find something so out of me, and so it's you know, I mean, so creativity is like a universe. So she could make anything out of me, because so for my message was, so there's many people having so heavy sickness, and so from this documentation, if we can help some people from weakness and get the strength, then I think it's okay. And I think this is a message of the whole film. It's not kind of music film that people maybe wish to see music film, but it's as you know, I told you, so my music is a different field, and so only life, and so, and this is the fact that I was so really sick, and I operated 40 times in these 3 years. And even during this, so between the surgery and the surgery, I made a concert as well with
amazing,
with many handicaps. And this is a whole things I can remember all of my life. And this is a hard point, but still I could have a hope. And so it's almost like, I don't know if you have interest to maybe read one part of the Old Testament, Job's stories. And this is the things which really is inspiring, and I was living like that way, and it helps me a lot, and in the future as well. So I'm 72 years old. I mean, not looks like so, but 27 is no more. But I don't feel like 72 years old. No, because I cannot see myself all the time. If I see myself, oh, so something is wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But if you cannot see yourself, so you feel like so let's say so same age like you know. So I don't mind, and I don't think that it will be kind of finals coming or like this, because I'm living in with ing, so that is always extensions, and never giving up for any kind, not only sickness, every kind of things. So
I think living in the power of now for Damo has also kept him very young, and also engaging with younger people, you also say. But I think the fact that you've always continued to do the things that you're truly passionate about, which is something which is hard to attain. A lot of people go through life and they barely do what they really love, and before they know it, time has left us. And I think that, and Damo, you do look young, and so does Elke, because you've done that. You know, you've kept up this high energy force because you live what you love as much as possible. And I think that's really inspiring, because it's really important to do what makes your heart smile, you know.
I remember when I sat down and started to watch the film, I didn't know really what to expect, because I just got the book a few days ago. It took months to get here to Sweden, so I haven't read the book or had sort of. I mean, my connection with you, Damo, was through the music. So when the film sort of started with you in your home with like nurses and I don't know what it's called, like things going into your arm, and it was so strong to start the film with that. So I almost sat there with tears in my eyes, because I was sort of expecting the film to start with sort of the rock star Damo Suzuki, but what we got was the human being Damo Suzuki. And that's the most important thing. I thought that was beautiful. And I mean, the film is mostly about that, I guess, the human Damo Suzuki. Were there any sort of, I don't know if this was a question or just a statement from my side, but were there any sort of, did you think anything of it when you started the movie like that, with one of those scenes?
Initially, actually, when I was putting the structure together, the first ever thing you would have seen would have been the Hickman catheter and the nurses around. And after a while and a little bit of feedback from other people, they thought that would be too much and make people kind of either afraid or I don't know. So I decided initially it does start with, you know, who Damo is, what he's done, how many years he's been performing, and then you see little clips of him in the past. And then it does go to that, because that is what was happening, and that is the story we wanted to tell. We wanted to inspire people, and I wanted it to be as real as possible. And I felt extremely privileged that I was able to capture those personal moments, and Damo and Elke trusted me to be there, and I didn't get too intimate, you know, only I felt I had to be really respectful and careful of what was and was not available to see. And I think that it's just been done really carefully by myself. And I think that I know that Damo and Elke are happy with that. I did show them throughout the narrative structure, lots of different rough cuts, and yeah, I'd never do anything that would, you know, upset them or anybody that I work with. I'm so respectful. It's just a huge privilege as a filmmaker to be able to capture and connect people with people on that level and mirror people and moments and situations universally that can connect with other people and they can tap into. So it was just great to plug into their world and create this documentary.
Yeah, I can add that we trust Michelle, and it was like, yeah, I think we have got friends in this time, and it was also a lot of humor. We laughed a lot together, and yes, it was like yeah, no, a friend is at home, and so it was so it this for me, I'm not used to be on camera like Damo. For him is more natural, no? Yeah. Oder?
Yeah, natural, like, so Big Brother is watching at me. You know,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's true. I mean, you're.
I mean, Misha is not a Big Brother. Misha, small cat. You know? No, small cat at home is watching at me, almost like this. So that's why I didn't care about who is there. You know, so because it's not natural. So if I too much taking care, you know, so
Yeah.
so our cat was so really so lovely and stay cool. So that's why we did it like this way, you know. So
and we trust the cat, no?
yeah, because before I gave her so really good food.
They did. They were so kind to me and they made very good food. But yeah, I guess my as a filmmaker, it's important to have a good relationship and with people that you're working with, and we were just so organic and just capturing the moment in time. Almost I tried to make the camera invisible and just try to just have the camera there and then just work around what's happening in that moment in time. A lot of those moments were like that, and then later on, like, I get a chance to look at all the objects in the home and things like that. So yeah, it was really lovely. We were all really great friends, and we still are now. So yeah, and I think you can feel that in the documentary as well, this genuine connect, which is different from, you know, so sometimes when, you know, I think it's nice that it's so independent and we didn't have a crew there with lots of different cameras and it's just me and my camera.
Yeah.
Like a, yeah.
I love how you frame also. Sorry. What?
I thought it was funny when Damo said like a small kitchen. There was a scene in the documentary that we actually deleted where we talked about Damo's name and how it's pronounced, and the fact that Damo changed his name was quite interesting. And he did describe how you're born and given a name like a small kitten. It reminded me of that phrase, and it was important for you to change your name, Damo, which wasn't in the final cut, but you could explain to us why you changed your name if you wanted to, Damo.
No, it's not necessary. So because I have now another name.
Another name?
Yes. So I have so much names, so that I cannot remember.
Okay. You'll have to reveal the new name now.
Yeah. So my name is Jonas.
Okay. Awesome. I'm honored.
I'd like to recommend you the book Job, Damo said to you, because when he was so ill, when he was going to die, I always read this book, Job.
Okay.
No? And this was really inspiring, because this man also went through terrible things. He was very rich and very wealthy, and then came illness, and he go down, and there is a part that Satan told God, he is only very believing in you because he has everything, he is wealthy, he has nice children and so on. And he said, when he will lose everything, he will lose also the belief in you. And
Okay.
God said, please try it, but you don't have the right to kill him. And so he didn't give up his believing, even he was so suffering. And at the end, God gave him everything back.
Yeah.
And so I was believing that that we go through this state of Hiob, and at the end he will get everything back. And also, every doctor said he never can sing again because of his belly and the many surgeries. But God gave him back. Yeah, he can sing. Even it's impossible. Yeah. So, and I think this might be a good book for you, because there is the Old Testament is often about the Noah and Moses and the history, but this book is totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. So it's not talking about Judah, and so it's a different place. But now I can remember. So your name is Jonas. So if you have a little bit interest in the Old Testament Bible, you must read book of Jonas.
Yeah.
Maybe you read it already.
Yeah. No, we have, like, my wife. She comes from a church family. Her mom has worked in church for 50 years, I think, as she's piano. I don't know the English word for it. So their part of the family is extremely faithful. Is that the word for it? So, but I'll definitely check out the Book of Job. I promise I'll do that. That would be now after talking, it's going to be interesting to read that part of the Bible.
Yeah, that's really inspiring as well, because you feel like, your faith in God, the fact that you were able to, survive 10% and you were able to sing again. And I think that also Elke was kind of trying to say as well, sometimes people that may not have a belief in God, if something happens like that, they seem to turn to God and have more of a faith. And sometimes maybe that might happen for that reason, to bring you closer to yourself on a spiritual level, on a healing journey. And it's quite interesting.
I love how you framed also when sitting talking in your when Damo is talking in the home, and Elke, you frame it so there's always a lot of books around them. I don't know if that was intentional, but I feel like they are surrounded by knowledge all the time.
Yeah.
Did you have any sort of thought, or is it just like me, because I have stuff everywhere in my house? So,
well, Damo's home was really perfect to be able to see.
We have many books.
Yeah, me too. Like, I'm framing this now like this, but you should see the rest of the sort of house. It's I have books everywhere.
I think so. We have a dining room, so alone is maybe near to 2,000 books.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Also in the cellar is maybe 2 or 3 times more books.
Yeah.
So we are living in a so small apartment. So that means we are always sandwiched from the books, and we are sleeping between the books.
Yeah. I love it.
So that's why getting always warm, you know, because paper is getting warm. So
Yeah.
we don't need any kind of a blanket.
It's perfect.
Outside it's 3 degrees, minus 3 degrees, but we can do it really comfort, and especially so our head is getting rich and rich and rich, you know. So because I have many interests and I'm curious to everything. So recently, so I started to paint again. So I
Okay.
stopped painting for almost half a century. I didn't paint anything, but I started to paint because at the moment I don't like to make any performance anywhere because I really don't like to traveling at the moment. The reason is so that I should go to eat in a restaurant and so, you know, so no, that I'm not saying that I don't like to pay any money or something like this, but it's not a healthy thing everywhere. Yeah. So instead that, so I'm cooking by myself. I'm quite good person to cooking so many different kinds. I do Japanese and Italian, Spanish, and all kinds of things. So I make it with myself, like I make music or like I paint paints, because every kind of things, creative things, are actually same. Because if you have your own message to do something, then you can make the really good things. So if you have a philosophy of yourself to cooking, so we don't use bad things. We hate to go to fast food. Instead, so I spend 2-3 hours a day for cooking dinner. And things like that, and mainly, so we made 3 or 4 courses menu, but at the moment not, because we are getting old and stomach is also getting, you know, so I'm getting also so smaller, very compact. So really like all the Japanese transistor radio, you know, so, and but I like to make many things with myself, and I put my time for it. Maybe for the other people say it's quite boring. Why? Because why he don't go to eat anywhere else? It's much more easy. But the easy thing is always, or easy thing, or without paying anything, is mainly very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So if you get sickness from the bad food, it's after you must pay so much money.
Yeah.
But if you eat all the time and continue good things, then you are staying in your health. And that means, so everything you get from your mouth is also substance in your body and going to brain too. And also, if you ate so creative things, then you are getting a creative person too. But if you take fast food, you don't think so much thing, and you get the damages, and you know, so you are getting like a zombie. So you cannot do anything. But if you do anything creative thing with yourself, so okay, I cannot make knitting pullover or something like this, you know, with a nice Scandinavian style. So you know, but in a positive field that I'm interested, I can get into it, like cooking, painting, also music. Maybe I have something else too. Then I like to make it by myself because it's really fun. Because everybody is unique. Actually, everybody is unique. But majority of the people don't try anything to create themselves and to find a new field which he can do, or he have many interests and development interests and so things, and they don't do. But actually, everybody can make so many things because we have 48 billion brain cells. So everybody can make something. Something creative, and creative things is good because your personal things instead buying so already things, and so you know. Yeah.
Kann ich mal zeigen?
Yeah, on a creative level, yeah, oh yeah, let's have a look at Damo's new art piece.
This?
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's so
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah. And this one. Can you see that?
Yeah, I took the photograph and the photographs, and then Damo's painted it. That's awesome.
That's cool.
How long did that take, Damo?
Just one big one.
Yeah.
Okay. So every day I work maybe 2.5 day hours. So that means so 7 hours altogether.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
It's healing as well. Any art's healing, isn't it? So painting is really therapeutic for the mind,
And this
body,
one
and
I bet.
soul.
is from a photograph of Michelle.
Yeah.
Met in London, and she is a real good photographer from the moment, so I didn't know that she did.
Yeah, I took a lovely photograph. Elke bought some really unusual goggles and the hat. It was really cool. It was a fun day.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. It's like steampunk almost.
Yes. But yes, your question about the there's so many books, etc. in
Yeah.
Damo's house. I wanted, as a filmmaker, to be able to soak up the entire essence of Damo Suzuki as much as possible.
Yeah.
So to be able to get all the different, like there's lots of different images of all the different styles of books he reads, so that if people want to engage more and learn more about, the mind of Damo Suzuki, they can buy that book.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like the image because it reflects on you guys being through the film. You seem like highly intelligent people, surrounding yourself with the voices of other highly intelligent people. But in another way, you talk in the movie about, or film about, being unique and creating a unique artistry or music. How does that sort of work together with all this input from other? Do you take input from other when you create your art, or do you try to make it as just a clear sheet?
Yeah, mainly I don't make any kind of plan. So I plan. Then forced to have any kind of destination. So I really don't like to have any kind of destination. So if I travel all through Sweden, so then let's go to this place and this place, but if I like to stay, then I stay so long. Yeah. So because anything is coming that you cannot see in the future what's going to happen. So with the painting also, anything is happen. But if you are planned, then you have a certain kind of goal. Yeah. And this goal, I'm not so much interested in. Most important for me is interesting thing is during the making of music together with another people I never met before, and 15 minutes before we came together, and together we are making not words, but we are taking a conversation and to understand each other and getting together one form of the music, and this to share to the audience. And this is one side. And the painting and the cooking is also, you have some kind of, maybe for cooking, you have an apple and something like this. And before, so first I think with this, I make so kind of direction. But suddenly I got the idea, if I mix with this one, then taste is good, then I make it so. So I don't like to have any kind of end product, because cooking also, painting also, during this moment you are doing is really, really interesting than product itself. Yeah. So you are so free with this moment. And you can go anywhere. You can go with a paper and something like something another, so things getting together, and it's many different way you can meet, and then okay, I take this, and then the next step, then I can take this, and you can go to many different. Maybe so it's not a test like which you thought like a beginning, but this moment I'm doing is for me is important than itself, but maybe it's getting better. It's really getting better. So because you're spending your worthy time for this thing, creative things, it doesn't matter any kind of creativity. But if you have own philosophy and own ideas, then you can go anywhere, and it's unlimited. That's a good thing in creativity.
Yeah, I think we're all made of energy, and we've all got chakras, and we either have blockages or we're unblocked. And I think either way, you attract people that you need in your life. And I think on an organic level, working with Damo and Elke, I was able to connect with them and gain an understanding of how to like utilize my energy and the power of now, the power of creativity, and the power of just being really organic. So yeah, on a creative level, your question was about who are you inspired by. I guess I've got similar thoughts to Damo on how to create, start from zero and just see what happens, and don't really worry about it. It just works organically in the way on your own personal spiritual journey as a whatever anybody does, like as a filmmaker. It was
I feel that it feels to me, I have to plan ahead. I have to have a schedule or something like that, because otherwise I go crazy. So to me, it's a terrifying thought that I don't plan ahead, or I don't have any sort of goal. But I can see that it's also liberating to not have a path ahead of you that you have to go down to.
Yeah, I guess it was like I connected on the level that it was a never-ending journey, but as a filmmaker, you have to have an end path.
Obviously.
Say, okay, this is closure. And there were times when I had to really be mindful and not let myself become overwhelmed by the amount of time it was taking. It was important for me to create a Facebook page and an awareness for people that know of Damo that the film was in progress. So that holds me accountable, which could give people anxiety, but you've just got to be really mindful about it and stay calm and just do what you need to do in that moment, because that's right for you, because that's your path, that's your journey. And it wasn't until kind of around 2019 where things started to really work out very well for the film. Damo had released his book. I'd helped Paul get images for the book. He also helped me get images as well for the film, and just things just happened really organically, like by magic. Damo would say, could you help me find the person that drew this? And then I'd find Juan Barabani in Buenos Aires, who then did our animation, which was not done until I had the seed of the idea 4 years before. So it took 4 years to visualize that and for it to come into fruition. I just love that, you know, the fact that if people rush things and think, oh, I want to make this in 12 months time and then it's done. I think with a documentary, time is so important to give you this beautiful journey. It's more rich. Yeah.
Have you always been like this, Damo? Sort of in arts, not planning ahead. When you did these, recorded these records, did you have the same sort of philosophy about arts and life as you do today?
Yeah, if I say so, maybe it's not truth, but anyway, so one thing is so sure that I'm quite a lazy person. Yes. Okay. So that's why I didn't like to repeat anything. So I study, so mainly band is so going to studio and maybe before compose and playing this one and so many times. Then they recorded it and then go to tour. And this kind of so circles, it's not my thing. So so when I did this with Can, also we had that luxury. We had own studio. So
okay.
yeah, that's why so we can record it 24 hours a day. So so but mainly then so many because we got money and we investigated only for studio to create things. But many bands had the money and they bought a good car or bought a house or something like this. But we invested for future creativity much more to find maybe secret of the music or something like this. So that's why that time too that we didn't have any special companies. Oh, I did this one. I did this one. There was not. All people came together and they took their part of it. And so how it's this album is done is like this way. So before too, also when I was making music on the street before Cannes, so I was a street musician, so busking around, so many countries in Europe, and this time also I didn't have any pieces because I couldn't have any, and yeah, and this time, this time it's in the Copenhagen 1969 or something.
Ah, cool.
And that time also, so I didn't make anything because I had not all 6 strings on the guitar.
No.
So I was so poor that I cannot buy
strings.
Yeah, new strings. So I performed together with only 3 strings or 1 string sometimes, and I should do anything which I have as an opportunity to create something. It doesn't matter if I got many or if I have a small bit of things. For any kind of a situation, I have to survive. So I was trained this one as a street musician and so. And this is quite always like this. I don't have so much ambition to do anything, but if somebody comes with a story or something, then if it's so fitting together with me, like Michelle did, and then and then I do, so I don't have any kind of so complete. So maybe I cannot build a good house, If I build the house already, it's so horrible. So so it's I like to get this day this and next day this, next day this. But with music, you can make painting. You can make because you don't have to take any kind of responsibility. So you can do anything that you like. So that's why music and the painting and so filmmaking is a little bit different because it's kind of only process you cannot do is because people must see product. So totally different, no? But the painting and the music or cooking, so
it's not life shattering if it doesn't work out. Or but in the film you say that you don't feel like a part of the kraut rock movement. Has that changed over the time you were filming, or are you still is that sort of still your opinion that you weren't part or aren't part of the kraut rock sort of?
That is maybe from the very beginning it's like this because I don't like to get in categorizing. So because music is our own universe, and for me it doesn't matter if it's free jazz or heavy metal or any kind of thing. It's the idea of the recording companies or recording shops because they can sort out. So this
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I talked with a progressive artist, a progressive music artist just 2 weeks ago, something like that. I did a interview with him. He's called Peter Brynolfsson. He plays with a Swedish band called Ragnarök on the Silence label. Anyway, he is of another opinion. His opinion is that you have to have labels on music, because without labels on music, you don't have a map. Like the listener needs a GPS to navigate through the music landscape. And I don't agree with him, but I think it's a interesting sort of theory in a way, that you have to hand the listener a map, a guide. I don't know. Do you have any sort of thoughts about that?
No, so I think it's almost like a communicating with the people. So if you meet somebody who you never saw before, then you don't know actually anything. But we are talking about then you slowly so understanding personality, and when this person is friendly or something like that, and choosing music is also a thing. So whole universe, music is not the kind of the place. So, and if this person has an interest in the one part of the music, it's his things, because his choices. But there is many things is happening in the whole music world as well. And I don't like to put it everything so together, but I like to get out from things so together to out, and the people listen to the music or movies, so it's not much any kind of creativity. So that to find themselves, not so advertisement from a recording company, this is a trend, this is so and so music, that's why you should hear it, because already listening into the music, he has already answer, which is belongs to this category, and so on. And this kind of thing is not important. So if you go to buying something in an organic shop or something like this, and you didn't see it before, but it's quite interesting package or anything so which makes you interested, then you don't know it, but you buy it, because then you can open your universe a little bit so bigger. So knowledge is like this. I don't know, like before we talked about the Bible. So Bible, we don't know the Bible. So that's why, so take it like this. But if you have interest, then you can open and you can awake for any kind of things, because it's not only religion's book, and it's history and everything human being and this society happens, it's all inclusive. So from this you can choose this. So like music is also for me it's just for me the universe. I don't like to take it this category. Guitarist play always like this, heavy metal guitarist is even moving on the stage, actually quite the same person is like this. It's like a robot, so I'm not so much interested. So I hope many people wake up for own taste and own unique personality. From this, they can find it music, but not the music is coming to you and this too much information, because many information is killing your life. So information is the most dangerous weapon in a human society. How much of the lies in history we are believing still, and so things like this. So there is many things. That's why music is special, painting is also special. Don't trust in a music reporter or critic or something like this. Just find yourself. It's the easiest way, and it's honest to you.
I'll ask the same question to Michelle about the film. It's a documentary film, but we talked a little bit about the sort of the label on the film. Do you believe that this is a music film? Do you believe that it's a kraut rock documentary, or how do you sort of approach the
I probably
film.
have two polar opposite answers for that. Like sometimes if people are lost, it's important to give them a label so they can connect, or if they need a label to learn more about themselves, if they're similar to other beings that might be given a label professionally or on various levels, musically or psychological levels. Sometimes, you know, it's helpful to have a label. With the documentary, I haven't really thought about. I'd say that it's the human genre. It's a human documentary. It's a deep, intimate portrait. Yeah. It's just screened in 9 cinemas as part of the Dock and Roll Music Festival, but technically it's not a, as you would call it in the mainstream world, a music documentary, which are generally a lot of talking heads and a lot of music. Yeah. This is a documentary, I guess, about healing. It's universally about all kinds of things, so you can't really label it. I just call it a human documentary, healing documentary, but it, you know, it's about Damo Suzuki, and he's a musician. It does feature lots of music. It's part like road trip as well after the healing process. So yeah, I don't know. People can call it whatever they like, you know. Like it's up to them. Everyone's different. They've all got their own ideas, so they can put their own label on it if they need to.
Yeah, that's why I told you I have many different names.
I get this now, Damo. I get this now. Also, Damo, the photograph that Elke just showed us, I've seen that a lot online, and I always wondered who took that photograph. Can you remember having the photograph taken? Was it your own camera and you asked somebody to take the photo?
No, it was a professional Japanese painter, so photograph.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, he was used to live in Copenhagen that time. So
right. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. He must be, if he still lives. I have no contact. When he still lives, then he's more than 80 years old.
Yeah, it's a wonderful photograph. I've seen it shared online many times.
Talking about beautiful photographs, the sort of the poster for the film with the blue spotlight on Damo's face is fantastic. It's like it's a piece of art, really. I feel like it's connecting both with the psychedelic world and sort of the documentary world. So yeah, good choice.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I took that photograph whilst I was trying to also capture the moment with moving image. And that was one of my favorite concerts that Damo did in Brighton at the Hope and Ruin. And he had been in hospital for 12 weeks. He should have only been there for 2 weeks. We were all very worried. And for me, it was like his comeback show. And the music at that venue and the collection of artists, it was really beautiful and poignant. You can hear the strings, and something about strings that just kind of breaks your heart or evokes so much. And then the blue lighting, which is kind of unusual, but it gives this, like you said, this immense energy. It's quite an unusual color, a hard color to work with, but it feels nice. So yeah, I'm really happy with it.
I think it's a perfect photo, or a perfect poster or cover, or whatever you want to call it. Yes, I'll let you go soon. I'm so grateful for having this time and this conversation with you. But one thing that I took with me when the film was over was that I had this sort of thought in my head, like that life, or being alive, living, that it has a value in some ways. I thought it was very sort of hopeful in one way at the end of the movie, when you have your speech at the press conference, sort of like life have value, don't take it for granted. Is this one of the things that you wanted to communicate, Michelle, or
absolutely, yeah. The power of now as well is so important. Time moves so fast, and you know we're changing all the time and evolving, and yeah, just to take a step back and just really think about what you really want to achieve in life, what you want from this journey, and who's important to you, and how do you want to grow, what answers do you require that are unanswered. As a documentarian, it's really beautiful to be able to connect and take myself out of my comfort zone and meet people that I'd never usually meet. I think when you find a passion, something in you grows and you become brighter, like the light turns on, and it takes you to places and paths that you would never go upon if you weren't brave enough to take that choice to be like, this is my passion, this is what I love, and to stay with that. And I think you can see that connect with Damo. He, continuously went on this never-ending tour, and he's had such a wonderful life experience. And I guess it's just to say, to kind of wake people up if they need to be that message, I guess, if they want to be more adventurous. But I guess it's really more of a documentary that's about resilience and about courage and about being brave and the power of now and the power of positive thought. And if something, happens that we can't necessarily be seen to be able to control, we actually can control a lot with the way that we behave internally and how we internalize things on a psychological level. I think that if we have a lot of stress in our minds, it can cause further stress within our whole entire body, which I guess is scientifically proven. But it was just really amazing to be able to convey that through Damo and his journey, the fact that he only had 10% chance to survive. And just, lots of universal things like the music as well, and love as well. I had you talked about the fact that I had lots of images of things around the house, and there was that little poster like, what are you looking for? And then I cut to Damo and Elke looking at each other. We're all like looking for our other half, to like connect this with somebody, our soulmates. It was like I wanted to put as much energy and as much human concepts in there as possible that we could all connect to on different levels, no matter who we are or what kind of life experience we've had. There's something in there, hopefully, for everybody.
Yeah.
Great
words.
Thank you.
So
thank you so much for watching the film with such detail as well.
Man, I've been following the project since you sort of announced it on Facebook or Instagram. I don't know which of the channels that I went for first, and I remember the Kickstarter campaign also. Somewhere I got in touch with that it was coming. So I mean, I've been really anxious of seeing the result, and I was super pleased. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better sort of film about Damo Suzuki. As I said before, I think that if one thing you really get the humanity of the artist in this case, and that is so much more important than anything else, in my opinion. Fantastic documentary.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's quite interesting you mentioned about the crowdfunding campaign as an independent filmmaker, to be aware for other independent filmmakers. If you do really well and you do promote that campaign, it's not just helping you gain the funds to create the documentary, it's also spreading the word that the documentary exists. So that was really powerful in itself, that helped me, be able to reach more people that love Damo.
We could have we should have a discussion just on filmmaking, because I love it. I have a small background on filmmaking also, but you are right. It like a marketing tool, it's a no-brainer to do one like a crowdfunding project. I think that the Zappa movie that they made also started out as a sort of crowdfunding, and a documentary on free jazz, for example, also. So it's really good tool I believe.
Yeah, it's so helpful. A lot of musicians use it as well.
Yeah.
The world's changing now, and people understand
Yes.
that if they've got a crowd and they can connect with them, that they can release things independently, and that's really powerful. So yeah,
it's interesting that you say, because I talk about, on my channel, I talk about vinyl records. I'm a vinyl record collector, so I shun away from streaming and stuff like that. I'm obviously in love with the old format. What does vinyl records mean to you guys? Do you have any sort of connection or relationship with the format of vinyl record?
Not really.
No, I didn't believe that either. Few have of the artists that I've talked with.
Yeah, I have a few, but I don't listen to any music.
No, okay.
So yeah, it's so, but for me, it's always like this. So if I paint, I don't see any painters painting. If in the case if I make movies, and I don't watch at the movies. So if I made a music, so I don't hear any music, only classical music, but it's not the vinyls all the type of CDs, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
we did talk about it, Damo, that we do love product though. Like, you have some really beautiful product in your house from the Damo Suzuki network. Like, it's lovely to have something to hold on to look at visually and look at images, and I love that. To have the ability to still do that's really important for me. I am aware that people generally just do everything on the internet now, but if I'm really a fan of something, then it's nice to support the artist. And like with Damo, people love to buy his product because they were there in that moment, at that venue, in that year, in that country, and that's even more special, I guess. Yeah.
And it's haptic, you know, so I need always something to have in my hands. And I think computers always, you do everything with that, you know. A CD could mean a film, could mean a mathematic program, it can mean business, and you do everything. And this is too much for me. I need books. I don't have any ebook reader. I don't like ebooks because I have it to have in my hand, and I have to mark it, and I have to know where it is, and not looking in the computer where's the book, you know. So this is nothing for me. And it's so dangerous for the common knowledge, because I can put it away, and then it's forever has forever gone. Yeah. But if I have it in my hand, I have a lot of books. They are not any longer available, you know. So so I think vinyl, and so this is, you know, in your underconscious, this is music.
Yeah, sure.
And I have a vinyl.
Yeah.
You connect directly what kind of product, and you are very clear with that.
Yeah.
If you have something in your computer, there's everything mixed, or the streaming and copy. Maybe you have some. We love to hear someone who is explaining things, and he is always saying, copy it, give it to your friends, and so this is good. So
it's more of a human experience. It's important to be able to literally have something and hold it in your hand. Or like, in today's society, everything's trying to make us not human anymore, not going out for a walk, seeing the sun, and using everything
everything in a small box, you know. So everything in a small box, it's not my world, so you know.
It's easy to connect with something if you can hold it, and you've got it there in your home to see it and remember it, whereas it's easy to forget something if it's something you've looked at on the internet. And especially with books as well, you know, it becomes habitual if you can read that book and highlight pieces. I'm a bit naughty. I like to color things in just to remind myself, and you can't do that if it's not a physical.
No.
Yeah.
I also think that streaming services, especially, I don't know, music-wise maybe a little bit, but especially in film, I feel that these big streaming services are stupefying sort of the audience or people, because like Netflix, they decide what we can see.
Yes, of course,
and it's often, I guess, based on their own productions and or the most grossing or highest grossing films. With that being said, it's just idiot stuff on the channel, so you don't sort of educate people anymore. I don't know, the Swedish government, we have our TV has sort of a purpose. It sounds a little bit like but yeah,
it's like what Damo says. It's very important what you choose to eat and drink and watch, because like I do subscribe to Netflix. I don't want to say anything bad about Netflix. Let's just say that
definitely.
It's really important to get an audience and for people to see things that are going to change their life and be inspirational. But a lot of films are actually not inspirational, and they're fear-inducing. And I think it's important to watch things that are inspirational and positive. That's just me. It helps me flow through life better. I'm less afraid if I watch more positive things and habitually think about wonderful things, rather than habitually watch a series about something that's going to be like making me feel tense or something,
Yeah, but
so
back.
Like you said, like a lot of the genres that are available today, I think a lot more thought should be put in that, and even with daytime TV as well. Like, but because there's so many filmmakers all over the world, I guess it's great that we can independently upload things on places like Vimeo, and just be able to speak in our own voice and convey things that are going to be like positive for the viewer. In my mind, that's something that as my journey through life, that's what I want to do, create something that is a gift to people, that will make them maybe inspired in a positive way.
What's in store for the future for you guys? I mean, Damo, what's the next sort of, do I dare ask what's the next thing, or do you don't have a plan for it?
Yeah, I have kind of plan. So I'm getting hungry and I go to kitchen and cooking.
Okay.
At first, I make this, then I can give you answer.
Okay. So Michelle, what's the next sort of step? Is it getting the movie out?
Yeah, sure. So I'd like it to. A lot of people are communicating with me online now and really want to see the documentary. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to try and have it exclusively on Vimeo for the United Kingdom and Europe. And then we're going to put on subtitles in Japanese so we can send it out to Japan. Then we will be submitting to festivals in the US of A, so I can't release it exclusively online yet, because I wouldn't be able to submit to festivals because there's all these rules. And then I'd like to plan a screening in Germany so that Damo and Elke can attend close to their home, which would be really lovely, and I can get to see them again in the real world rather than just on the internet. So that will be nice. And then later on, finally, we will release a beautiful product with a booklet and photography and things. Hopefully I can raise funds through the online streaming to be able to do that. So yeah.
Oh, many plans.
So that's the current plan.
But first,
so tight schedule.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, I guess so.
But it sounds like a fantastic sort of future ahead. It would be awesome to. I have to check for the date for a screening in Germany. I mean, I can. Me and my wife could jump in the car and we would be in Germany if, like 5 hours drive, something like that. So, but I don't know, Cologne, is that far down in Germany?
Yeah, so anything like 500 kilometers from Hamburg.
Okay, okay. So it's like okay. I'm going to Stockholm tomorrow. It's 500 kilometers to Stockholm. So yeah. So it's like going to Stockholm a little bit further.
Yeah, but it's not so cold.
No, but it's not so cold. No.
And the street is much more huge.
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Than in Stockholm. I'm going to Old Town in Stockholm. I'm doing a. It's a beautiful place.
I know, Gammelstamm.
Looking forward to it.
It would be good if you could make it. Yeah, depending on the venue that we get and cost, etc. It would be amazing to even have bands on as well, and maybe even Damo might even do something. If not, then maybe just like photography and a little exhibition of the network posters as well. Just something really fun and arty and just really full of beautiful energy that people will love to be part of, very close to Damo and Elke, so it's easy for them to get to, because they deserve like a proper screening near their home.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Have to let me know when it happens.
I will do for sure.
Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I'll end this now and I'll just stop the recording, and so yeah.
So thank you so much for watching, and please consider subscribing if you haven't for more content like this, and give it a thumbs up just to show some appreciation. See you in my next video. Bye.